And good morning, YouTube. This is a point two, so it's a part 3 video. 4:59 in the morning, 19th of December, and I'm right where I left off on the last one, which I would have kept shooting video, but once these things go over 20 minutes, I have a hell of a time getting them off this piece of crap phone and into the cloud, and into the YouTubes. So I'm standing in the parking lot. You see little parking spots here, which is just it's on the southeast corner of 44th Street and Washington. And what this is now is the rideshare staging lot, which is kind of weird. I don't see any vehicles here at all. Usually there's cars here queuing up to get dispatched into Sky Harbor, but I guess there's just not many flights coming in at 5 in the morning on December 19th. But that was not what this was built as. This was actually built by the city of Phoenix as a transit center. And I should do more videos about transit centers because, and I've done a couple of videos where I've talked about transit centers. A little bit. I mean, I did one maybe last week where I was showing how Central Station is all fenced off, and they've gone as far as not allowing Route 3 westbound to stop there, even though there's room for it to stop there, and causing people to have to walk, a block and a half to get there. Anyway, this was built as the Sky Harbor Transit Center. And here you see there's structures with shade, for people waiting for buses to get out of the sun. And a little thing above, which at one point in time had a little sign to tell you what bus route stopped here. And then these signs here, which now need to escape the heat, blah, blah, blah. Valley Metro's Ride Kick. What the fuck is Ride Kick? Where do you want to go? Valley Metro Ride Kick. The official Valley Metro mobile app. Wow, this must be really old. I use the Valley Metro app all the time. In fact, I tell a lot of people about it, and it's really good. But apparently, once upon a time, instead of being called the Valley Metro app, it was called Valley Metro Ride Kick. And it looked like, wow, how old is that? Still sitting here. I wonder if that, and you can see it's shriveled up from the sun. I wonder if that ad banner thing dates back from when this was a transit center. So I honest to God, when this was a transit center, I never got the bus here. But these parking spaces here, which now are where rideshare vehicles sit when they're waiting to go into waiting to go into the bus, waiting to go into the airport. As you see, that's kind of an odd curb form. We've got parking spots, but instead of being flat, you get this spot that kind of curves out. And the reason it's shaped like that is that was a bus platform. That was where one bus loaded. There's a bus bench there, and as you see, this pattern continues. So that was a spot for a bus, and that was a spot for another bus. That's not a normal way for a parking lot to be shaped. And it's cut in again, and that was a spot for another bus, and on we go. And another bench for somebody to wait for the bus, a spot for another bus. And this was where the buses would turn in, and it was a transit center where you could catch and transfer buses. Transit centers work well in a lot of other cities, but I don't think they've ever really been that successful in Phoenix. And this is one that is no longer, but it's still here. It's used by Uber and Lyft drivers to stage up for going into the airport. And it's funny how you see these parking spot lines for the rideshare drivers to park at. in these weird curbs that are shaped in the right size for buses to stop and pick up people. Yeah, no buses pull in here anymore, obviously. But, and I forget which, I mean, obviously the Route 44 went in here and the Route 1 went in here. I don't know what other buses. It feels like there were multiple different buses that terminated in here. Hey, and look, there's a rideshare driver pulling in. Yeah, that guy, yeah, I can see his lift light. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I can see his little purple lift light in there. But yeah, this is where the rideshare drivers pull in now to stage up. But this was a transit center for transferring to buses and getting off the bus, and I think the plan was that when the SkyTrain, there's the SkyTrain, when the SkyTrain was built, you'd be able to get off your bus here and go over to the SkyTrain. But I do think this as a transit center, I think this ceased being a transit center before the SkyTrain was even built. All right, I set my phone in an awkward position because my left shoe's untied. So, hi, how you doing? I still haven't learned how to tie my goddamn shoe. All right, working on that. Anyway, this is one of many transit centers. Transit centers? Is that what you call it? Yeah, one of many transit centers that have been built by the city of Phoenix or other cities because each city handles their own transit here in Maricopa County, Phoenix metro area. This is one of many that no longer really function as transit centers. This one doesn't function at all. There's no buses pulling here at all. It's just rideshare drivers camp out here. It's kind of an interesting thing because now there's that overpass. I know I have a video where I remember which one. Somewhere on the channel there's a video of me going across it. It's a pretty cool people mover. It runs from the light rail station over to the SkyTrain station, and there goes the SkyTrain. Boom, SkyTrain is running right now. Love the SkyTrain. Now I wish there was something comparable to the SkyTrain that worked as transit for the entire city. SkyTrain is way more functional than Phoenix Light Rail. Phoenix Light Rail, for the most part, runs in the middle of goddamn streets and has to deal with street traffic and intersections, and it adds to the congestion. It doesn't take away from the congestion, as opposed to the SkyTrain, which is a train in the sky. And take it one step further, Phoenix Light Rail costs a small fortune to build and maintain because it is actually on metal rails, whereas the Phoenix SkyTrain, even though it runs on this fancy track which is up in the air, it's just a cement track. The SkyTrain vehicles itself have rubber tires and they just drive on it. Like, the only thing that's notable in it as far as other, this not just a flat thing for it to drive on, is this third rail, basically this thing in the middle which provides electricity for it. And the other thing that makes SkyTrain very superior to the Phoenix Light Rail is Phoenix Light Rail has drivers. It has drivers. Well, that's a bad thing, having jobs is a good thing, but some person that drives it. And for the most part, I've sat right by them and kind of watched what they do, and they never exceed 35 miles per hour, ever. Yeah, 35 miles per hour is a shit speed for a sprawled out city, urban light rail system. Like, seriously, you've got light rail in a city, it needs to get you around faster than driving. And 35 miles per hour in a city where most people drive like 75 on the freeways is fucking ridiculous. And then, of course, being, on the street where you got to stop at red lights, fucking ridiculous. SkyTrain, and look, there's another train. That's the other thing that's good about SkyTrain. Like, the frequency is great. Like, every couple minutes there's another one. Yeah, not so with the Phoenix Light Rail. Yeah. So there's something like SkyTrain, and that was the public transit system here. It'd be pretty awesome. So anyway, there's this pedestrian bridge. I love this. You see I'm the only one walking on it because hardly anybody uses it. Because it goes to a transit center that's no longer a transit center. Obviously, Uber drivers aren't leaving their vehicles. And it connects over here. That's the Grand Canal right there. Grand Canal bike path going the other direction. I've done some videos about the Grand Canal bike path. In fact, if you search my channel, there's a really cool video that has had very few views of the when I had my last scooter, which lasted for a whopping 3 days. My last scooter, it was a rebuilt 9-body ES. I want to say ES4, but I guess it was more of an ES2 with an external battery pack, which is basically an ES4. I did a long run down the Grand Canal bike path. I didn't make it this far east on it, but yeah, it's a nice POV video. Not as good as it could be, because obviously I'm shooting with a shitty ass